It's been more than 3 years now since I got the Ricoh GR3. The camera pretty much lives inside my pocket and goes everywhere with me. It's small but ergonomic and quite powerful. That's the Ricoh GR in one sentence. When I first got the camera, I thought to myself that, oh, I'm definitely gonna need a thumb grip for this. But on the contrary, I actually never needed one. The camera just works. It's clean, sleek, it's minimal. Like a designer would try to design like a DSLR that fits inside your jean pocket. To me at least, I feel like the ergonomic when you're holding the camera, it fits perfectly inside my hand. And if I need more stability, I'll use a wrist strap to make everything more secure. But other than that, this feels very comfortable in the hand. I can just point the camera however I want, and it's just comfortable to shoot with. The design hasn't changed much throughout its predecessors, and honestly, it didn't need to. If it didn't broke, then don't change it. And sure, you can accessorize it with like a thumb grip, with a bigger handle so it fits your hands more perfectly, or even add like an extension down here at the bottom where it gives you more control around your pinky area. And yes, you can also customize the ring here. I have mine the way it is. This is the street edition. It comes with the orange and it also has like a black ring on it, which I personally find decent because I actually do like the orange pop, and at the same time when I'm shooting on the street, I want to get that eye contact with the whoever on the street. It does attract a bit more attention. And that also makes the photo fun because people actually look into the camera itself, into the orange ring. And I'll use the black ring whenever I don't want to draw too much attention on the street, or I'm just like going somewhere easygoing, not trying to get much attention. And obviously you can find other colors of the ring to customize if you want. But for me, I like to keep my Ricoh just the way it is, minimal, simple. And that's the whole point in my opinion of getting this camera. Only other accessory that I have on the Ricoh is this lens cap. And if you know, you know. I pretty much had this lens cap on the minute I learned about the dust issue. So luckily for me, I haven't really encountered much dust problem in the sensor on my Ricoh yet, fingers crossed. But so far it's been very helpful. However, it is one extra friction that you have to do, like taking off the lens cap and then, turn it on. It's not the end of the world, but still, it's one more step that you have to do. And at the same time, this cap is not like exact, like fit, so it's very easy for it to just like come off like that. That's crazy. Like does that all the time, and I just have to be extra careful about it. And as a matter of fact, if you know any other way to cover the lens so it protects the sensor from dust without sacrificing size and like extra bulk inside your pocket, because the whole reason I got the cap is so that it's slim and it still fits inside my pocket. But if you know other ways around this, yeah, let me know in the comment section. I would love to give it a try and just have this still in the same size, like pocketable friendly if possible. But other than that, the simple lens cap does the job pretty well as of now. And because of the design and the size, the weight, this is easily one of the best APS-C camera that you can have around you, especially inside your pocket. And when I heard about the Ricoh GR4, where they haven't really changed much in design, I was quite delighted because I do like the way it is right now, the form factor, the way that I hold this camera, just pretty much everything. Although I do hope that a couple features and functions could be added or improved on the 4. But overall, I'm not too mad about the direction they're going with the 4. Now the Ricoh, it's not cheap. Like for its price, you're missing stuff. You don't get flip-out screen, you don't have a viewfinder, you don't have like an internal flash. So most likely if you want flash for your street photography or just everyday use, you need to find an external one, which costs a kidney. Okay, it's not that bad, but still, you have to take time and also extra money for an external flash. Now, battery life, wow, you probably get like 150 to 170 shots on a good day. And honestly, I can live with that. It's not that bad. If I know I'm going on like a couple days trips, I'll bring extra batteries. And if not, I'll make sure that I charge my Ricoh all the time. But the most annoying problem that I encounter with Ricoh is that after a couple years of using it, it stopped turning on. Now, fortunately, I did figure out like a way around it and just keep it, moving. Still, it's annoying. Basically, I had to like add this piece of foam in the battery compartment. So it pushes the battery more like downward where it contacts to the camera itself. Now that only fixes it like temporarily. There'll be times still it just wouldn't work. So the other fix to that is to just spray isopropyl inside the battery compartment. I know, crazy, but somehow it kind of works as of now. So with both of these methods, that's how I've been still be able to like shoot with the Ricoh. Other than that, it would be just like it wouldn't turn on and I have no idea when it's not going to turn on, which is not reliable, and that is no good for street photography. Now the other problem that I forgot to mention is that the wheel dial over here, it just stopped working. Like if you can turn this and then it just wouldn't move. Now luckily I can change the functions, like just different button to two different buttons, I mean. And this way I can just avoid the wheel like altogether. But if you really like the wheel here, you can also spray like isopropyl here and then just start turning left and right, and eventually it'll start working again. Still annoying. So at the end of the day, I'm just like, I'm gonna skip the wheel and just use other buttons for like instead of the wheel. Now luckily on the Ricoh GR4 it seems like they got rid of the wheel, so hopefully that's not gonna be a problem like down the road. Now as for the dust issue, it hasn't really been a problem for me, luckily, fingers crossed. Maybe it's because I slapped this lens cap on the minute I learned about the dust issue like I mentioned earlier. Maybe I just got lucky, but so far so good. So hopefully this will stay like this. Now overall I feel like the flaws so far actually makes the camera better. Like hear me out, no flip out screen, I can live with that. And in fact I actually try to look for different angles more because I don't see the shot like in screen because of the angles obviously, and I tend to look for more different angles of the shot that I want to try to get. And it sounds a little counterintuitive, but the more I try, the more I find interesting angles. As for the short battery life, I actually find myself trying to pick out moments that's worth capturing. Like it slows me down, kind of like film in a way. And as a matter of fact, I did make a video maybe a couple years ago when I first got the camera and I just start shooting without an SD card here. It'll give you around maybe like 50 or 40 shots with its internal memory, and that actually makes the street photo session very, very fun in my opinion, because you're very limited to the amount of shots that you can take. Now obviously it's not exactly like a film camera, but it does give you that kind of feeling to it. Yes, the building memory is very tiny, but it does gives you a bit of peace of mind whenever you forget your SD card at home. Now the good news is it seems like the Ricoh GR4 is going to come out with a 50 or 53 gigabyte internal memory, which I'm pretty sure is going to give you a lot more shots than the internal memory inside the Ricoh GR3. And I feel like every camera brand nowadays should just start making camera with internal memory. It should be a standard now. It just makes everything so much easier. Okay, maybe not for client work because I still like to shoot on different memory cards just in case if one card fails, I still have to rest. But still, for travel, for fun, I feel like internal memory inside your camera is definitely a good option. But yeah, I feel like overall, the limitation, the flaws, is actually discipline in disguise, which makes the camera more interesting and more fun. Now the most underrated features on this camera is snap focus and how fast it powers on. Like you can go from pocket to shoot in less than seconds. That's how fast this camera is. And with snap focus, once you're familiar with the distance and you just set it to 2 meters, it'll just like start snapping. And the autofocus on Ricoh is not exactly like good, but it's decent. However, the best way to focus is with snap focus because it doesn't autofocus. Once you have your subject in the distance zone, then everything is good. So who's this camera for? I feel like the Ricoh GR3 is not exactly a beginner's camera. I mean, it could be if you really want to like dive into like photography, but I wouldn't recommend this as like the very first camera for any beginners out there. It looks like a point and shoot camera, and yes, it's a fantastic point and shoot camera, but under the hood there's tons of like pro features and obviously some weird quirks that you have to live with. And then there goes the price tag that you definitely should think twice about before getting this as your first camera, because honestly I feel like you'll learn a lot more with other camera that's cheaper than a Ricoh when you're first starting out, and that's like for another entire video itself. But if you're a working photographer like me where you just want to have like a fun camera that you can carry around every day inside your pocket, then I'd say just go with the Ricoh. You will not be disappointed, and in fact, this might be the most liberating camera that you'll ever own. The kind of tools that just disappears in your hand, where the only thing left is just your photos. At the end of the day, this camera is not perfect. And maybe that's the point. Photography isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to make you move, wait, think a little. And for that, the Ricoh GR is one of the best pocket-sized tool that you can carry with you.